The one thing that grounded me without me even realizing it, without knowing it, was something that was right in front of my face. But it wasn't until I started studying my human design that I found out what it was. And this is why sometimes things worked and sometimes things didn't work. But once I figured this part out, I could do it on purpose with consistency over time. And we all know everything through repetition and consistency over time, being persistent at it. That's the way forward for anything that we do, right? So I want to share with you what this is in my human design. So I've got my chart up here. Here's my body graph and everything. And for me, it is right here. It's this gate 22. And let me show you where it comes from. It comes from over here, which is my unconscious. Design is the same thing as unconscious. See if I can spell that. And your personality side over here, this is your conscious. So the part that we tend to have a lot more access to in realizing it. And so that's why often tapping into your unconscious is where we get the most bang for our buck, because we're already aware of this. This is the stuff that we're not aware of, and it's what can really increase anything. And I feel like this is one of the most powerful gates that you can have, one of the most powerful places that you can tap into on your chart. Now, for me, that is 22. So the 22 that you see is the gate, and the 2, what comes after that, it says 0.2, that is a line number, and that is about the quality. So gate 22 is the main thing, the main attraction. But we're all individual. The line that you have for me is line 2 gives it an extra bit of flavor. So sometimes I think of it as you could have chocolate chips, right? But chocolate chips come in different sizes. So you could have, chocolate chips in a line that are like little mini chips. You can have big fat chips. You can have like chunks instead of chips. And that's kind of what the line is. So let's say gate 22 is our chocolate chips. So, let's see. So here is our, it is a chocolate chip. And this is the kind of chocolate chip that it is. Let's say that they're little tiny mini versus something that feels more like, a chunk sort of thing. That's how I want you to kind of think about it. Okay. So everybody is going to have a gate here. It may not be 22. Probably won't be 22. Everybody's going to have a line here. Could be 2. There's 6 lines total, so it could be 1 through 6. So that's kind of the first thing that you kind of figure out. Okay, here's what it is. And there's lots of information online. There's so much information out there about human design. You can go and you can look up, what the heck does gate 22 mean? And you can use that as your starting point, because that's going to give you some clues. The other thing that you could do then is you can do a little bit of research. I mean, heck, you can go in and ask ChatGPT. You don't always get reliable results, but there's lots of people out there blogging. I talk about gate 22 specifically because it's my gate in a lot of my YouTube videos, but there's information, there's books, there's resources that are out there that you can go and you can find. That's not what I'm going to talk about here, because I'm not here to teach you the ways of human design, but how you can apply it. And that's what I am most interested in. So this is the first step that we get, right? So you find out what your gate is. You can go a little bit further in your line number, and that's what you're going to get in the surface level of everything that you look at in human design. So let's see if I can go through here. Let me turn off my pen. Let me turn on my selector here. Let's see if I can click this. I have a new system here. So I'm going to do this. We're going to come over here. We're going to paste, and I'm going to start fresh here with a new one. So first, a lot of people go in and they get their gate. So first, right? They figure out that it's a 22 gate. They go and they look at that. And for me, it's a 2 line. So what's yours? That's what you want to go through and do. And you can get some good information about that. But here's where I started to really kick it up. There's a couple extra steps. So gate 22 for me is in the center here. So watch your center. And this is, for me, it's the solar plexus for me. So we're using me as the example. You can find what yours is. And again, you can go online. There's so much information out there available about the different centers. I'm going to talk to you about how you put this stuff together. So for the center, I'm going to go back to here. So if the gate is the chocolate chip and the line is the kind of chocolate chip you have, sometimes I think about these as the pancake. That's not even how you spell pancake. As the pancake. So you have the pancake, right? Each of these gates are different flavors. So let's say the 22 is the chocolate chip, right? Let's say that's what that is. You know what? Maybe the gate 30 is blueberries. See where I'm going with this? So berries, 55 could be strawberries. It gives the pancake flavor. So we've got the pancake and we got the flavor depending on the gate. And then you have the line, which is kind of defines what that flavor is even a bit more. So that's kind of my theory on how I look at this. But so we go back to mine, right? First, you find your gate, then you find your line. So there we go. Second, you can look at your center and it will give you even more information of what that conscious earth is, what that grounding is. Because this is what this is. This is the unconscious earth. It's your grounding on your unconscious side. So it's the grounding. How you center yourself, right? That's what we're looking at. That's what we're doing. So you learn about the gate, you learn about the line, you learn about the center. And let's see if we can add one more thing here. Let me see. I got to move this. May have to go over here and do this. Hang on a second. I need another page. All right. So we're going to go in here and we're going to paste. We're going to come in here. We're going to copy. We're going to paste. Move me back over here. Come back on here. Here we go. We're rolling. All right. So we get the pen, right? We started here. That's where we started. So first, then we found the center. That was second. All right. Now we got a little bit of information here, but here's where I kicked it up. So this is the key. If you look at my channel right here, it's only halfway. It's not completed, right? So there's this whole area right here. Where the heck is it, right? It's not there. It's missing. It's broken. Or maybe you don't like that word. Maybe it's incomplete. Maybe it's just hanging. Whichever way you want to describe it. So how about we go with hanging? It wants to move towards the throat, which is your communication and your action. So we have in here, let's see. I'm going to backtrack here. I'm going to get rid of some of this extra stuff. Oh, I love the undos. So we have this, and this is emotions. So my grounding has something to do with my emotions, 100%. 22 is the fear of being silenced. A line 2, it's often natural. It's effortless. And so to go from silence to grace. So 22, you have the shadow of being silenced. And when you're in your gift, you feel graciousness, meaning that, you're okay with it, right? And in the emotional solar plexus, we know that we're talking about emotions. So we're talking about from an emotional undertone. we have we have all of those things in there. So, right? So, let me see, make a list here. So 22, silence versus grace, right? So that's what it is. And then the 2 line is natural. So it's going to feel easy. It's going to feel too easy on there. And then we have the solar plexus, right? The solar plexus right here. This is the center, the solar plexus. And so we know this is emotions. See, keeping it really simple here. So we're talking about from an emotional standpoint, not from an intellectual mind standpoint. But these emotions, they want to reach towards the throat, which this is your communication. So our emotions, my emotions, to ground, they want to get to the communication. They want to express out, but it doesn't connect. And so what I found has worked for me so beautifully in the past that I didn't even realize it, because I just thought it was something I did because I enjoyed doing it. I didn't actually understand the real value of it. Is when I can create something or express something in some ways. It doesn't have to be through words. So communication doesn't have to be words. It can be words. It can be movement. It can be visuals. So many things that it can be. When I started to figure out, this is my yearning right here, right? This is what I'm looking to do. This is my yearning. This is where I'm looking to go. I'm looking to go this way. And if I could come in and figure out, how can I do this part? That's when the magic really started happening. When I could allow my 22 to be emotions, not silence them, just let them exist. Do it in ways that felt natural to me. Like for me, that's making art a lot of times. And it's not about trying to come up with a name for it, and just letting them move towards expression. And when I opened up my definition of communication from the throat center to be not just words, but it's movement, it's visuals, it's lots of different things that you end up doing to express outward, that's when I could do my grounding on repeat. And this kind of grounding has bumped, I would say, up my stress-free life 10 times at least, more so than playing into my conscious side. And so maybe that'll work for you. So this is my roadmap of how I got there. And I would love to hear your thoughts about which ones are for you.